Hello everyone! Today we are making a very beautiful and delicious New Year's cake called 3 Nuts for Cinderella. The cake is very unusual and quite simple to make. The decoration on the cake, simply stunningly beautiful cones and nuts. Well, essentially 3 nuts for Cinderella. Stay with me and we will cook together. So the cake is very tasty, chocolate flavored. It contains 2 types of layers. One is a caramel sponge cake and the other is meringue, also chocolate. Let's start cooking. We'll begin with the caramel. We take sugar, put it in a saucepan with a thick bottom without anything. No water, nothing. We put it on the heat. When the sugar starts to melt, see, do you see? I have a large high heat on the stove. Be careful. Now add 80 milliliters of boiling water. Be careful and stir constantly. Like this. Keep stirring all the time. Don't stop. Like this. Yan. That's it. Done. Strain it through a sieve to make sure there are no lumps. But if you stir quickly like this, there won't be any lumps. I ended up with 110 grams. I only need 80 milliliters of caramel. It turns into a sort of caramel drink. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees and let's start mixing everything. Place 3 eggs into the mixer bowl and start beating until you get a thick foam. Add the sugar and continue beating for about a minute to a minute and a half. Combine the melted butter with the caramel and mix together. And like this, without stopping the beating, we add it. The whole mixture has a beautiful caramel hue. And it's delicious, by the way. Now here, into the sieve. We add flour, starch. I have potato starch, but any kind will do. Baking powder and cocoa. Sift everything. By this time, the oven should be preheated to 180 degrees. Mix everything with a silicone spatula. Take a baking form, line the bottom and sides with parchment paper. The form should be between 18 to 20 centimeters in diameter. Pour the batter into it. And bake in the preheated oven at 180 degrees like a regular sponge cake until a skewer comes out dry. I have 6 or 7 plums. I take them and make these cross-shaped cuts. Place them in a container. Pour boiling water over them and leave for 1 to 2 minutes. Remove the skin. After the boiling water, it comes off easily like this. Very carefully remove the pits, and the plums need to be cut into very small pieces, just like this. Let's prepare the spiced plums. So if you can't find plums, you can use soft dried prunes, but with plums, the taste will be a bit different. I add a pinch of citric acid. Now I take a mix. Such a mix is sold for mulled wine. It already comes with sugar. There are mixes that are just herbs, but the one with sugar, I add a tablespoon. And for the one that's just, herbs, spices, you can add as much as you like. And I add about 80 grams of sugar. We put it on the heat and caramelize the plums in sugar and spices. Let's take an orange. I will need 1 or 2 slices like this, as desired. Just remove the zest and cut into thin pieces like this. I will take 2 slices. My slices are up to 1 centimeter thick. As soon as it starts to boil, add the sliced orange. You can adjust the amount of spices yourself, more or less. Now on the heat, I have a fairly high flame. We simmer it a bit so that the plums become caramelized. But don't overcook it, so it doesn't become too dark, like a dark caramel. I keep stirring it like this all the time. When it bubbles vigorously like this, for about a minute to a minute and a half, I turn it off and set it aside. You get this kind of caramelized plum. To cool it down faster, pour it into some container. If you like, you can add a tablespoon of rum or cognac for flavor. Now let's prepare the egg white layer. I take the egg white from 3 eggs. I will need 3 egg whites. First, we beat the egg whites alone. When the egg whites are whipped, add powdered sugar. Here. the texture of this meringue layer will be more incredibly delicate and incredibly refined and airy and light. I like it more than with sugar. However, if you don't have powdered sugar, you can add regular sugar. Now beat for 1 to 2 minutes together with the powdered sugar. Since this is not exactly meringue, it's a meringue layer, it should stretch a bit in the cake. That's why this proportion of sugar and egg white is used, plus potato starch is added. You can use any starch, but today I have potato starch at home. Sift it into the batter, and I add a tablespoon of cocoa, also sifting it into the batter. Well, not batter, but the egg white layer. So make sure to sift the cocoa to avoid lumps, and beat it again. The whole mixture, look, it's glossy like this. Due to the powdered sugar and the texture of the layer itself, will be very delicate. See, it's somewhat dense, not too airy. And look, you see, it doesn't really fall, it's kind of sticky. That's it. Now take the mold in which we prepared the sponge cake. So we take out the sponge cake and remove the mold. We undress it and let it cool down well. I have a little, as you can see, a dome has risen. If yours is the same while it's still very hot, I slightly level it like this. And that's it, basically. I wait. Line the bottom and sides again with parchment and put the meringue in here. You see how sticky it turns out? Spread it out and put it in the oven. I bake at 80 degrees with convection, slightly opening the oven itself. I bake it so that it's dry, but inside it's still moist. It's dry, like well dried on top. It stays in for about an hour and a half. But inside it should still be slightly moist, kind of gooey, because it's a cake. The plum mixture is still slightly warm, not completely cooled. Well, by the time the meringue is ready, it will cool down. I strain it through a sieve. Why? I need to soak the cake layers and add a filling. So I do it like this. Let it sit for about half an hour. It will take a while to drain because the mixture is thick. I stir it periodically, but don't press it through. All the pieces should remain. Look, you see. Here I have a little syrup. I will use it to soak the cake layers. And I'll put all this filling between the layers. It will be very tasty. This whole mixture is very delicious. We got such a spicy plum. Yeah. Now let's make the cream. Take 200 grams of chocolate. I have a mix of milk and dark chocolate. So I have a total of half a liter of cream, 33% no less. The cream should be cold. Add a little by eye to the chocolate. Pour the rest into the container where we will whip the cream. Whip the cream. Add a thickener for cream according to the package instructions. You can use any brand. Melt the chocolate. I heat it in the microwave. You can use a water bath. Mix the cream that we started whipping with the chocolate. Add the second half of the cream and mix it as well. Mix everything well and put it in the refrigerator for about an hour. Well, while the meringue is in the oven, let the chocolate with cream cool down. Put the chilled cream back into the mixer bowl and whip it at high speed. The cream should stay in the refrigerator for at least an hour to cool properly. So how do I check? Well, it stands for at least an hour to an hour and a half, and then I check. I remove the sides, break it upwards with a toothpick like this, and check to see if it's undercooked inside, as if it needs to stand for another an hour. And then I take it out. It should be gooey inside like this. Cut the cooled cake layer in half. Look at how it turns out inside. Fragrant, it smells slightly like caramel. Take the form in which we baked it. Line the bottom and sides with parchment. This is how I do it. I open the mold and place the bottom of the cake inside. Just like that. Hop. Now we close it. It soaks two parts, both one part of the cake and the other. First it soaks one. Don't be stingy, spread it just like that. We get a very tasty, spicy plum soak. We put part of the cream here and smooth it out. From the parchment, just like this, you see, like this, we carefully and gently transfer the cake layer here. If it cracks a little, like mine did, it's not a problem. Like so. We carefully place it and level it out. We gently and carefully take the plum layer that we prepared. And here we spread it over the meringue and apply the cream. Soak cake with syrup, place on cream. Like this. And with the syrup, I soak the cake layer that I have left, which will be on top. Oh, it smells so fragrant, the syrup. Such a juicy soaked cake layer. We place it on the cream. And we smooth it out. I have a little cream left. I will put some of the cream on top now to cover the cake. And I'll leave literally 2 or 3 tablespoons. That's how much I have left. And I'll put it in some container in the fridge. And tomorrow when I remove the parchment, I'll finish the sides. We put the cake in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours. The cake turns out to be tall, about 12 centimeters. So when assembling, don't forget, the parchment should be high on top. In the morning, the cake has settled and I remove the mold. Look how tall it turns out. Now, carefully, little by little, without tearing too much, we remove the parchment from the sides, like this. And with the remaining cream, we cover the sides. I use a spatula to slightly even out the sides, but you don't need to try too hard, because we will decorate the sides with nuts anyway. And with the remaining spoon, I will smooth out the top a bit here, to make it a little more even. All right, and that's it, we can start decorating. Before transferring the cake to the serving dish, I take cocoa and completely cover the top with it to create an even layer of cocoa, like this. But this should be done on the day of serving. All the decoration should be done on the day the cake is served. So like this, look, you can go over it again to ensure there's a good layer. It will absorb a little and might get slightly moist. So we make a good layer. Now, we transfer the cake. So what do? You lift it like this. The cake, put your hand here and separate the parchment from the cake like this. Insert the spatula here. Like this, carefully, and transfer the cake. Now that's good, good. Transfer the cake onto the plate like this, just like that. There. For decoration, I took hazelnuts. I don't roast them, I take them whole, crush them, and sprinkle them on the sides of the cake. And basically, you can serve it like this. But today I will make a beautiful decoration on top. Since it's New Year or Christmas, when you make a cake, it will be very nice, but the decoration is up to you. However, it's preferable to sprinkle nuts on the sides. Put the nuts in a blender and crush them. Make crumbs. You can roast the nuts if you want. Sprinkle the sides of the cake with nuts like this, pressing them well. Before serving, I take the cake out of the fridge, decorate it, and put it back in the fridge. And an hour before serving, I will take it out. It turns out very beautiful. It's not necessary to use hazelnuts. You can use walnuts, but I usually have walnuts everywhere. In salads, I use them everywhere. So this year, I decided to make it with hazelnuts. Let's set the cake aside for now, and I'll start with the decoration. So I don't wash the blender, I just took some cookies. Right here, I have this kind of chocolate one. You can use any kind of chocolate shortbread cookie, absolutely any. We put it in the blender. Add a piece of very soft butter and blend it to make a soft mixture. When I whip it, I add about a tablespoon of milk so that the whole mixture sticks together. I end up with this kind of soft mass. It's very tasty. The main thing is not to eat it all while I'm shaping it. Ideally, you can add a few nuts. The ones that are added right here, just make them smaller, meaning grind them more. There you go, then it will be delicious. And in general, if you're too lazy to make the whole cake, just make sweet potatoes. That's also good. You can decorate it and it will be a New Year's treat. We divide the whole mixture into 3 parts. I will make 3 cones. You can make a few more, divide into a larger number, but large ones look nice and impressive too. So look, we make a kind of sausage shape. So place it and shape it into a cone. Wider at the bottom, narrower at the top. Well, you end up with 3 such blanks. For decoration, I will use these chocolate cornflakes. You specifically need chocolate flakes. And these kind of, like half spheres. They are sold by many different brands, various brands. Look, if you can't find chocolate ones, you can use rye or whole grain, but they should be dark. Now we decorate the cone. Look, I take it like this and insert it. First, I make the first layer as if, then like with petals, the next. Place the next petal like this in the middle of these 2. Like this, we leave a little space between them. Look, like this. We finish up to the very top. On top, I choose those that are slightly smaller. And now you can leave the cone like this, but I will close it a little like this. Then it will essentially look like this, as if the cone is closed, still half closed. The cones need to be placed in the refrigerator so that they set a bit. The butter will set in the refrigerator. So I don't move them anywhere, just like this on 3 plates and put them in the refrigerator. Or you can take 3 cones on 1 large plate. Look how beautiful. All right, I put them in the refrigerator and make the other 2. To make it faster, you can put them in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes. Here it has firmed up a little. We transfer the cone, like this, onto the cake. We place some nuts here and there. The nuts look really cool like this, like cones and nuts. And we take the nuts. You can make them yourself, but there is a wonderful recipe for these nuts on my channel. But this time I just bought them because I only needed a few to decorate the cake. Now we take the rosemary. Rosemary resembles fir, so be sure to buy rosemary. So just carefully place it on the side like this, You can do it like this. Look how simple it is. And then the last one. And now, to make it look like snow, we sprinkle a little powdered sugar. Like this, as if everything is covered in snow. That's it. And serve. Cut the cake. As I mentioned, take it out of the fridge an hour before serving. When I cut it, I removed 1 pine cone and then I'll put it back. Well, that's that. Oh. Look, how? I don't know. Should I take it out or not? This is how the cake looks. Look at this beauty. It's very, of course, beautiful. Very beautiful. You can see all the layers. You can see the plum. Now we are going to taste it. The meringue is in the layer. I can't wait to try it. So shall we try it? Let's try. Very tasty. Spicy cherry, but it's so extraordinarily delicious. Just awesome. If you make it with prunes, it will have a slightly different taste. The plum here, well, buy it if plums are not available. Very tasty. Take frozen plums, prepare it from frozen, just defrost them. They are sold in stores and markets. Just awesome. Such a soaked, delicious cream, an amazing cake. On my channel there are many delicious different Christmas and New Year cakes. I'm generally a fan of sweets and desserts, so I have plenty of this goodness. Every New Year I try to make something new. This year, such a wonderful cake. That's all. Be sure to make it. Kisses, love you, take care, bye. Subscribe to my channel, give a thumbs up, share this video and make cakes.